Hello, I'm Mallory. Welcome to my channel. And I am a transformational coach speaking all about God consciousness, the truth of our reality. And today I'm going to talk about the pineal gland. Sometimes I call it the pineal gland and people make fun of me, but I guess in Australia they call it that too. So either way, it works. But it is the reason for my spiritual awakening 2 years ago. And at that time, I was eating crazy healthy and was not drinking any caffeine. And honestly, I'm heading back in that direction because when I was eating really healthy and was off caffeine, I think it really comes down to caffeine. I think caffeine, personally for me, I'm very sensitive to it, love the taste of it, but my body's just not a fan, especially coffee. I love the taste of it, but it just does not work with me. I don't know if you can even see, but I also have like a third eye pimple right up here, and it's because of coffee. And it's sort of like, I feel like my body also telling me like, hey, if you want this to work properly, you need to quit that shit. So yeah, going forward, I really am just gonna be quitting caffeine. It's just, my dreams and visions that I've seen off of caffeine are just fucking amazing, and I'd rather have those dreams and visions than enjoy coffee. And there is decaf too, but it's just not the same. But anyways, so if you desire a mystical experience, or if you follow Neville Goddard and you're like, well, you know, Neville's telling me I'm God. I know I'm God. I've been manifesting my whole life, and I do manifest things, and I know, wow, I manifest this, like, clearly I am God. I am creating all of this. But if you want to actually have an actual experience, it's that you need to get into the void state. And that's the beauty of doing these meditations to connect with the pineal gland. It's your connection to the mystical. And I didn't even know, I was doing these meditations not expecting anything, and that's a big part of it too. Don't expect anything. Just go into it and just, you know, have fun. Because I notice that whenever I'm in meditations and I'm expecting stuff, nothing happens. But when I'm like in meditations, like deep in the meditation, that's when like things will definitely happen. And so I definitely recommend go on YouTube or buy one of his meditations on his channel, because sometimes it can be a pain in the ass with the ads in the middle of meditations, and that does help. I've been fortunate to find some free ones though with no ads, so that's been great. And I do love the blessing of the energy centers, especially if you're watching this because you have autoimmune disease. Highly recommend the blessing of the energy centers, because when I was going through a lot of stuff, I did those, and it's just energy cleansing. It is incredible. So highly recommend. But if you're really going for those, you want to activate that pineal gland 100% if you really want to go to the mystical, to the void state. And this didn't happen overnight for me, but since I was eating such a healthy diet, like I said before, and was caffeine free, it did happen, I think probably after maybe my second one. And the cool thing about this meditation is at the very end of the meditation, and ironically I was doing it right before bed. I also feel that's definitely the best time to do it too, because your subconscious is really taking in like what you're doing, and is really taking your lucid dream. Like that's what Dr. Joe Dispenza said at the end. Now you're gonna lucid dream. And my subconscious just ate that right up. And at the time, I didn't even know what the hell lucid dreaming was. So, but damn, did I lucid dream. I talked about this in another video, but if you haven't watched it, basically, at the time I was manifesting lottery numbers, and it was incredible. So basically what happens is I get really emotional in a dream, whether I get killed or, because there was one weird one where I was like tango salsa dancing with some guy, and he had like a rose in his mouth. I don't even know. I think he might have been like a skeleton. It was very Tim Burton-esque. But then I ended up with the rose, I think, in my mouth, and then I was sitting, and then he had a gun to my head, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is how I die. And then I died, and then that's when a black screen comes down. And then there was another one where I was in a car accident, and I was so emotional. I was like, how am I going to get to work? What am I going to do? Oh my God, oh my God. And then after, you know, I get crazy emotional where I can't even handle myself anymore. That's again when it fades to black. And then I'll see like green code and stuff. And I've had other visions, like picture visions, like actual, and that's a big thing about the subconscious is it creates in pictures. So when you're visualizing things, you always want to visualize for good. You want to visualize that stack of cash. You want to visualize that perfect love. You know, if you're just off daydreaming, you make sure that that daydream is productive and happy and full of health and wealth and love and fulfillment, because that's very important, because subconscious is taking in everything. And it also, I'm really sarcastic, but the subconscious isn't, so it takes things very literally, so you have to be really careful. I used to have a lot of self-deprecating humor, which I thought was funny, but to the subconscious it's not funny. Yeah, it's just, thank God that stage is behind me. It still was kind of funny, but it's not me anymore. I'm just, and even though people are still like, you know, toxic positivity, I'm not that at all. I'm realistic positivity. Like, I deserve and I want a good life, and I'm gonna stay positive, and I deserve that positive life. And if I continue, of course, this is life, things are gonna happen, but it's also important to stay in like a neutral, sort of detached, positive state. And that's really the best thing you can do, especially, that's a whole nother video I'm going to talk about, but the detaching is key in life. You know, we are God consciousness, pretending we're these characters, and just to stay in that, the I am state, which is also a very neutral state, because it's just your God, it's your powerful state, I am. And that just helps you detach anyways. But anyways, I'm going off here. Or was I? Oh, yeah. So after doing those meditations, yeah, I had a bunch of different dreams. There were some that sort of helped me in my situations, but I've also had a lot that I do not understand at all. And if any of you have had any of these experiences, please share them with me, because I've had a bunch where I see it's just white and black squiggles. Or there's one where I've seen it's white, but then like a cartoonish, almost looks like the Red Bull commercial, cartoonish thing. And then there was another one where it was white, but it was like a doodles, almost of like a house. And I'm like, this is so cartoony. Like, what? I don't, unless it's like a past life thing, but I wish I knew. I have no idea. But I've experienced those, and my most recent one was more of like, I don't know if it was a crystal ball or a snow globe, but there was dice in it. And it was really cool. Really cool. Very mystical. So like, the beauty of once you have these experiences, I feel like it's just so much easier to have so much faith and so much trust in God, and that you know you and the Father are one. Of course, God is greater than you, and his ways are higher than yours, because you've got this ego mind, and but you really got to put that ego mind in the back seat, and, you know, let God, let infinite intelligence take over. And another thing I've been doing a lot recently is asking infinite intelligence for me to be on my divine path. I just want to be on my divine path. I don't want to be doing I just want to be on my divine path. And once you really connect with infinite intelligence and say that, any time of the day, but especially before bed, I feel like I've been doing that, and things I've been doing, like a lot of cleaning and stuff that I hadn't done in the past. So I feel like you connect with that infinite intelligence, and you just want your divine mind, your divine body, and your divine affairs, and you request that. That's just where you want to be. Your body's gonna start to make all of that divine happening. It's, you know, coming out of you and throwing that ego back. And fearless faith is a huge part. I'm gonna make another video on that. Huge part to all of it. to life, really, because we're here in this 3D world, and we got to go into that 4D imagination and really create like what we want. But when we're dealing with the 3D, it can be really scary, and that's the beauty of detaching and just sitting back and being like, okay, so what do I want to create out of this? Like, maybe I did make this mess, or maybe I did make that amazing thing happen. What can I do next? So yeah, it's wild. So yeah, so definitely check out Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations. I can go over the breath too. Sometimes it's really, especially if you're new to it, it can be really kind of like overwhelming and weird, but he also does have a lot of good descriptions. This is the way I do it, and I feel like some people might do it differently, but this is the way I do it, and it worked for me. So yeah, if you're familiar with the chakra centers, Dr. Joe Dispenza calls them the energy centers instead, because some people are like, oh, you know, chakra centers, or that's so woo-woo, even though this whole world is woo-woo, but that's okay. That's the ego doing its thing that it's designed to do. But so he has energy centers, and then the first one is at the very bottom of your spine and your perineum, and then the second one is your sacral chakra right underneath your belly button. The third is also, it's 1, 2, 3. The third is your solar plexus right underneath your chest in the very middle of your stomach. And then your heart chakra is the fourth energy center. And the fifth is your energy center is your throat. The sixth is that magic pineal gland. It's the sixth energy center. And then the seventh is your third eye right in the middle of your head. And then this one up here, your crown chakra, is your the eighth energy center. And I think he actually brings it like up above your head to the portal that he calls it. That's where energy becomes matter. And that's what was really cool about my first experience with the meditation, is I did see the all-seeing eye, and it was all energy. It was lime green, and I was in the void, so it was all black behind, but it was lime green. And there was one time too where it said 28 inside the eye, and that just, I don't know what it means yet, but it means something. And then behind the eye, zeros and ones were scrolling, and then there were a few times I just see it like show up and fade out, and show up and fade out. And it was just showing me that God consciousness is now online. Like, I've been awakened, and I'm one with the Father, and reality is nothing that I ever thought it was. It's so much more, and it's so amazing. So now that you know about the energy centers and all the different chakras, I'm going to actually explain the breath and how to do it, because I didn't before, but I had to add this in because it's the key ingredient. So basically what you want to do is take one deep breath and bring it down to the perineum, your root chakra, and then you're going to hold in the muscles of your root chakra. You're going to bring up the breath up. Well, so it's just one breath, you're bringing it up. Pretty much think about bringing it up the spine and up into, so basically like a straight line from your root chakra up the spine to the top of your head. So that one deep breath, you're going to bring it down to the perineum, root chakra, hold in the muscles of that area. Bring it up to the sacral chakra, hold in the muscles of that area. Bring it up to your solar plexus, hold in the muscles of the solar plexus. And then I just continue up each chakra, but also following my spine. So up into the heart center, up into the throat, the fifth energy center, up into the pineal gland, most importantly, right through there, because there's crystals on that pineal gland that need to get, agitated by the breath to create this movement and these mystical experiences. And so you're going to go through the pineal, which is behind, it's the back of your throat, and then the very back of your skull in the middle. So it's right in the middle there, behind the back of your throat and the back of your skull. And then up to the third eye, right in the middle of your head. And then you're going to bring that breath up here. So it's like you're pulling the whole mind out of the body, and you're going to let it sit here, and then you're going to hold your breath for at least 10 seconds while you're pushing that breath. So you're really like holding the breath up there and like squeezing your muscles. There's a spinal fluid that's really coming up your spine into your pineal and out up here, up to taking the mind out of the body. And it is an intense process, but the more and more you do it, the more natural it becomes, and you do literally get high on your own supply. So I'm going to do it for you right now, and here we go. So I'm going to take my deep breath. You literally do get high off of that like once. So that's the key to it. Really intense at first, but the more you do it, the better you feel, and the more you just want to randomly do it wherever you are. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. And I had to add this in, so now I'm just going to continue to what I was talking about after this. Hope you enjoyed it. God is an incredible, like, genius doesn't even touch genius. There's no words for God. There's no words for this whole experience. This is all so amazing. So it makes you realize too that you really are being taken care of, and that's something I've been reading a lot of Florence Scovel Shinn, and the fact that metaphysics is the true reality, and that God is your provider. God, you and God are one, and you have your heart's desires for a reason. That's why I'm on here, because I kept getting all these visions in my head. Talk about the pineal gland, talk about the pineal gland, talk about your experience. And my little ego mind is like, who wants to listen to me kind of deal. And then I'm like, no, I'm God, and all I want to do is talk about the fact that, God consciousness is the only truth of this reality. And I'm just going to continue doing that until the day I die, because I also believe that that's part of the reason why I'm here, to be part of the great awakening of this era. All different people are being awakened at different times, and for people that are looking for more of this information, it is important for me to share my experience, and I'm just so excited to hear about other people's experiences too. That's why I love people's stories. I love listening to people, and I love guiding people along on this journey too. So if you have any desire to work with me, that information's below. But yeah, it's just, life is amazing, and just be grateful for every day, and just have fun, because God is really playful, and all of this 3D stuff is so serious, but really when it comes down to it, he's just dreaming us up. This is all imagination. So this really is all play. It's all play. It's all God. It's all good. So yeah, talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.